Okay, this is a quick tutorial. Let me clear this out. I'm going to start with a clean slate. Quick tutorial on the assignment. Again, this is data. The data is different than the data you'll be using for the assignment, but I just want you to see um, what's expected. First, when you download in the assignment, there is a submission template that I'm going to ask you to follow. It's essentially the assignment, with then giving you an opportunity to put in some descriptive information, group assignment, group number, and then team members. List by names, first and last name here. So instructions, we're trying to be as clear as possible. One addition that we've included is to provide an observation insight relevant to each chart or table. And the rest is all self-explanatory. So this is the assignment. Again, the data I'm using is not the data for the assignment, but I just want you to see what's expected in terms of how it's built. So I'm going to jump right in. So real quick, you click anywhere on the chart, you insert a pivot table. It's going to ask you, I'm going to insert it into the actual chart just so I can reference back to the data. You don't always have to do that, and usually I prefer not to, but that's what I'm doing. And this first one, we're creating bins on, in this case, it's asking for income. And I have a column here, annual income, which is, it's going to be different than the data that you have. So whatever your income column header is the one you would bring in. You dropped it into rows. You got a whole bunch of numbers. So it's listing all the individual numbers that are in there. You bring this over here and change that to count. Otherwise, you'd be summing the income. And then in order to get these bins, what's being asked here, you can see here it's looking from 0 to 220. You right mouse click on the column and you create a group. And the group is 0 to 220. And we're doing it by groups of 40,000. And that should do it. And that's the total there. So to clean this up a little bit, I would recommend you change these headers. This makes it a lot more professional. 40 to 80K. Here then 80 to 120K. 120 to then 120 would go to 160K, and then this one would be greater than 160. So it looks like it skipped and I checked the data, my data. There's no range between 160 and 200. So this would give us all the groups. And then in order to get it's looking for a bar chart. We go click anywhere on the pivot table, insert, and I do like to use recommended, but you can either, it's going to be a bar chart, so you can pull that down. It'll recommend a bar chart if it knows what it's doing. And so we have the bar chart that we need. Let me close this. No, let me move it over. Yeah, so we have the bar chart that we need, but there's some things wrong that we want to clean up. First, because we changed the labels here, you can see it changed it at the bottom nicely, and that is exactly what we wanted. So here we can, you right mouse click on the field button and click hide all. Field button cleans it up. We don't need the total over there because we have them labeled well underneath. This top one, we would put, income. I guess this would be survey participants income ranges. And you could use whatever terminology you want. And then the last thing to make this 100% is to we would go to design, add elements, and we want to add the axis titles. So the primary axis is there, and you do it again. Axis titles, and then the primary horizontal axis, and then this would be income groups, and it's always good to bin equal 40,000. And then this one would be here, count of survey panelists. And that would be what I consider an acceptable chart. And then you could just copy it. You could bring it over here and right mouse click and paint as an image. It's going to be kind of big, so we'll want to shrink it down until it fits. If you want to move it around, you can change this text wrapping where it will sit above, and then you would just have to move the content down and put it wherever you want. I also recommend make it large enough so that it's visible and readable, and then also insert a text box here. Also recommend making this so that it can float, and then including text. Identify some insight that's available from the graph. Opportunity to interpret. The next one is using the same data set. So here you can highlight, and we can use, because it's also using the same income groups, and we want to look at the relationship between income and living in urban areas. And then in this case, you can use the same pivot table. So you highlight the whole pivot table, highlight everything, Control C, bring it down here, Control V. So it helps us because we keep these breaks. And my data doesn't have the urban area, so urbanization. So you have that. It's a 0. It's a binary number. But my data, I'm going to use men. So this is actually showing income by men versus female. Men is a binary number. And you just put that in the column. And then here it shows you the count. It's still the count as before. Those are, this would, if in your case, the one would be urban, and you can list it as urban, but in this case, I'm going to say men. And then the 0, I would say non-urban, but for me, I can say women. And then it's as simple as from here, insert. We want to see recommended charts. That's actually an acceptable chart that we can bring in. And it just shows the relationship. So this is probably decent. So here this is men and women on the side. I would to clean this up a little bit, I would get rid of the value field buttons, hide all, and then as we always do, we want to include. We want to include add titles. So go to design, add elements. We're going to add chart title above. We're going to add the axis titles, the horizontal, and add the axis title vertical. And so we do have the opportunity, though. So this does show that it shows what's being asked, but a better way to even do this would be if we wanted to change the data type and use these types of stacked bars that go to 100%. And it'll show you the percentage of, so the men versus women. These are very different numbers. But I'm going to switch the row and column data, and now it shows me the percentage of women of what they earn, and in your case it would be non-urban and urban. So this chart title, I would change it to income for men versus women by percentage. And sometimes it's good to put it on the title. And this is percent of total. And then x-axis men versus women. Okay. And I think that's good. So I know I covered it pretty quick. So same thing as before, right mouse click, paste as a picture, make it so that you can move it wherever you want. Then here we make it smaller, put it over here, move this down. And then your observation, I would use this as a group project. It's always good to copy and paste because we've already changed this one. Come on, get down here. Yeah, we've already changed this one, so it's always good to copy and paste. You can see the text box and adjust the height. Interpret the chart, and what can you say about income levels and urbanization based on your chart? I did men versus women, but you would look at the chart and make an observation. In this case, that women predominantly earn less than men, and men as a percentage are earning in the higher earning brackets. So observations such as that. So this concludes the Excel portion. This would be exactly what you would need to submit, except using your data. Hope that makes sense.